our first webinar participant. So exciting. Wow. I just started broadcasting the webinar panelists. So, oh my God, we got 3 people here already. That is amazing. One of which is Jamie, Jamie, I just, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. One sec, don't touch anything. All right, Jamie, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Jamie. I'm Cynthia's co-founder here at Stix, and just wanted to thank you all for joining. We're so excited.
Cool. Jamie, I just added you as a panelist so we can see you now.
Hi.
Jess, it's so good to see you.
I know, so good to see you too.
And Jamie, we have already 3 participants on the line.
Awesome.
Yeah, even though we're 7 minutes early, you know I love promptness. Oh man. And for folks who are tuning in, welcome to the very first Sanity series event. We are so excited to be bringing you peace of mind even from our own homes here. You can see my little makeshift office. There's a chat open at any time. Feel free to throw in questions. We might even ask some of you during this webinar as well. So, you know, we're here to build community to make sure we all don't feel isolated, even though we may be socially distant. So let's chat. And everybody might see a cat walking back and forth, so I apologize in advance.
Where is everyone calling in from?
I'm from King of Prussia.
Oh, cool. So not too far from us.
No, yeah.
Ooh, someone from Florida. That's quarantine right now.
I'm jealous. It's like 40 degrees here.
I know. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, right outside of Detroit. So I feel the cold pain. Just waiting for some sunlight, like some sunshine would be nice.
And I'm from New Jersey.
Amazing. Jamie, before you log on, I made everybody stand up and show us their belly bumps, which was very fun. We may do it again later.
Because we've got lots of different trimesters here, right? Okay.
Yep.
All 3?
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3.
That's exciting.
Very exciting.
Are you guys all first time mom? Does anyone have other kids at home?
Hi, first time.
First time?
First time.
First time. Just a couple of dogs. No real babies.
They count.
They do.
You all have at least a niece or nephew. Maddie, you have 1 and then 1 on the way, right?
2 actually now.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, my nephew was born on Christmas, so he's starting to chunk up. Not as much as my niece, but you know, he's getting there.
I have a bunch. I think 11.
What?
Yeah, my husband is one of 6, and all but one of his siblings have multiple kids. And my brother just had his baby 9 months ago. So a ton on my husband's side and then 1 on my brother's side. So lots.
Wow.
Holidays are fun.
Yep, and I just have 1 nephew. He's the cutest little thing. Cutest little thing ever.
They are fun.
And Jamie has 2 nieces and 1 nephew, but no kids.
Kids. My sister has 3, and she's going crazy at home with them.
Do they live close? Do you get to see them?
No, she lives in Portland, Oregon, so we are opposite coasts. But yeah, my littlest niece is 18 months. The middle one is 2, and my nephew's 6.
Wow.
So they're like all over the place.
All over the place, yeah.
They're a little crazy at home.
I can only imagine.
I've been seeing all these things on the internet that talk about how the parents are adjusting to having to be home with kids all the time. You know, it's boy, I'm lucky. I'm just starting, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with that yet.
My favorite is people calling their kids their coworkers. Like when they're working from home, they're like, this is what my coworker did today. It is hilarious.
Well,
I don't know.
look at all these people. We've got 12 people on this call. That is so exciting. Welcome, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we're going to hold off on starting for just a couple more minutes, give people a few more minutes to join. In the meantime, you can hear all the funny banter going on here. We're calling in now from all across the country. It's so excited to have you at our very first Stix Sanity Series event. Okay, go ahead, Jess. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good. I don't even remember what I was saying.
Speaking of the funny memes about being a parent now, I sent my sister this. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's like day 14 of quarantine, and he just is hiding from his kids. So it's like, here's an idea for you.
How did he do that?
He just like printed out a poster that looked like a couch.
Oh, man.
Gotta get creative.
Well, I'm impressed that everybody like has a space even to be calling in from.
This is our soon-to-be nursery, actually.
Oh, can we see?
What's that?
Is it set up at all?
No, I am like, we have a dresser, and we actually put up we did do the crib this weekend just because we're like, what else are we gonna do? So my mom has been really excited about us being pregnant, and so she's already like started buying stuff. So last week our crib showed up, and just so
yeah. Oh,
that's good.
Yeah, so it's very peaceful in here right now, so I'm liking the feeling so far.
Well, I'm in a room with like only one tiny little light, so if the lighting is a little dramatic, I promise it wasn't on purpose, everybody. It's just, you know, DIY home office in Stix land.
Adds to the look.
Oh, thank you, Maddie. Thank you.
Yeah. Wait.
Amazing. All right, well, we'll give people 2 more minutes. We're already up to 15. That's pretty awesome. My God, 16. So cool. So excited to have you all here with us today. On the chat, if you guys want to put in where you all calling in from, and we can kind of go through in a line too. So I'm in Philadelphia, which is Stix HQ, though obviously not there right now. Oh, New York, some more Philly. And then on the Zoom, Lauren, Jess, Maddie, you want to tell us where you're from?
I'm from King of Prussia, in just outside of Philly.
Cool.
I'm from Jersey.
Woot, love it. Jess?
I'm from right outside of Detroit.
Love it. Ooh, Nashville. That sounds like another warm place to be. I don't know where the Floridian went, but she really is the right idea. Hopefully you're calling in from outside. Amazing. Amazing. All right. We'll give people 1 more minute to just hop on in here. And then we will kick stuff off. In the meantime, maybe we can all make funny faces. Yeah, that might be.
Show our pets and animals.
Yeah, Jamie, you want to show your pet?
In my lab right now.
Ooh, wow, a lot of New Jersey here today. Whoa, love it. That's where I grew up, so love to see the representation. Amazing. Okay, well, turns out it's pretty incredible. So I think we can go ahead and get started. Maybe I'll give our introduction a little bit short. But hey, everybody, I am Cynthia. I'm one of the co-founders of Stix, along with my co-founder, Jamie. You can see up here on the screen, too, the one with the very pink hat. And we are so excited and honored that you're joining us here today for our very first event of the Stix Sanity series. As we all know, the world has turned upside down a little bit in the past 10 days, and it's forced Jamie and I to really think about how we want to be building this community of amazing, strong, and powerful women together, and ways that we can connect from everywhere from Michigan to Nashville and Florida and New Jersey, all over the country. And so we're so excited to be bringing you this series, really expanding our mission of bringing peace of mind to these amazing digital events. And this, as you all know, is the very first one. Like I said today, I'm calling in from Philadelphia, that is obviously my house. Hopefully that's where you all are too. So if there's cat tail or dog barks, I apologize in advance. But we're joined today by 3 really amazing mamas-to-be, Jess, Maddie, and Lauren. And all 3 of them found out that they are pregnant from Stix pregnancy tests, which is pretty much the best news that Jamie and I get in our day. And I'll let you ladies kick it off by sharing a bit about yourself. So maybe you could tell us how far you are into your pregnancy, where you're from, what you do, and a fun fact. So Lauren, do you want to kick it off?
Sure. All right, so hi everyone, I'm Lauren. I'm 33 weeks pregnant, so I have about 6 weeks left to go. I am from Jersey, and I'm a registered dental hygienist, also a health and fitness coach for women. Fun.
Amazing.
I don't know. I like being outside and I like eating ice cream.
I was talking to somebody earlier today how there's not enough good ice cream in Philadelphia. So what's that? Okay, Jess.
Hey, I'm Jess. I'm 36. I'm from Michigan. I'm a marketing manager for a rescue produce company, and I've been married to my husband Seth for a little over 3 years. We have 2 awesome pit bulls, one named Scout and one named Levi, who you also might hear during this call, very likely. I am just over 21 weeks, so 21 weeks and 4 days pregnant with our first baby. This was an IVF baby, so we had been trying to conceive for just about 2 years. And yeah, we're finally pregnant. And so, fun fact, I also like ice cream a lot. I'm eating a lot of ice cream every single night. We just bought a chest freezer for our basement, and literally it is full of ice cream.
Maybe we'll close this out by everybody saying their like weirdest pregnancy food, but hold on to that one. Okay, Maddie, last but not least.
I'm Maddie. I am today 11 weeks pregnant. So I am in the throes of morning sickness, which is why you might see me eating some French fries as this goes on, and ginger ale. But let's see. My husband and I have been married since October, so we've had a honeymoon a little later, and found out our first morning on our honeymoon. So we were really excited. I work as a home hospice nurse in the Philadelphia area, and I really enjoy it. And my fun fact, Jess, I think you mentioned that your husband is one of 6 kids. Both my husband and I are also one of 6 kids.
Wow.
So, yeah, lots of aunts and uncles.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to start off with an easy one. Obviously, we're in a pretty crazy time right now, so let's start at the beginning. What's it like to have been pregnant these past 10 days?
Crazy. Stressful, like, oh my gosh. I don't even know how to describe it.
Jess, Maddie?
Crazy, a roller coaster. I feel very grateful to have my health, super grateful to have a healthy baby, super grateful to have my job still. My husband has his job still. But also like super sad for like myself right now, which is stressful to kind of deal with that. Just because of like opportunities we might miss out on, just like holidays or baby showers, or just, it's not what you envisioned it to be. So you get a little sad for yourself, but and then you feel bad about it because it's kind of like, well, these are first world problems, but I'm allowing myself to feel a little sad right now too.
Absolutely. Maddie, how about you? What's your experience been like?
So I think mine is different because I'm just so early in my pregnancy still. I'm in the first trimester. So I was just talking with Anthony, my husband, about this earlier. The timing of this sort of staying at home, social distancing, all of that, in a way has been very fortunate for me. And I mean, trying to see sort of the opportunity or find the bright silver lining of the situation. One of the benefits is that my husband is now working from home, so he can like bring me French fries. And it's a lot easier, especially when, for me, with the morning sickness and everything, for my symptoms, I sort of get the same symptoms that you'd get with depression. Really tired all the time. You don't want to eat. You don't want to do anything. I just want to, this is my throne right here. And having him here is really good for me, I think, because, it's someone to actually see and interact with, who I have to see and interact with, and I enjoy it. And, you know, he can also support me and make sure I don't wallow in self-pity.
Yeah. So Jess, you mentioned before that this is bringing up a roller coaster of emotions. I'm not pregnant myself and I'm experiencing a roller coaster. I can't imagine the stress of growing a human inside of you, plus all those hormones, how much of a roller coaster that must be. So I want to take into one emotion that we've heard a ton about from our customers while we're collecting questions, which is fear. And that this experience is bringing up a ton of fear. So I'd love to hear from you starting, and then Lauren, Maddie definitely chime in. But what does this bring up for you in terms of fear, and how are you handling it?
So the biggest fear is just the unknown for me right now. So like, we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know, you know, what my delivery will be like when that time comes. Will my husband be able to be there? How this will affect me if I get it. What do I do if I get it? You know, like what is the next move? And then also there's like minimal information about how, you know, it does affect the baby in utero, and they're saying it doesn't, but then you hear things and you read things, and so it's scary, just really not having many answers right now. And to be honest, dealing with it, the way I'm dealing with it is kind of trying to stay just super level-headed and unplug as much as possible. So don't read all the things, don't have the TV on all the time, just kind of like get away from it as much as possible with still being informed and being safe and doing all those things. But yeah, it's super nervous. It's very fearful for me.
So Lauren, you're just 6 weeks from your due date, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little about kind of some of the fear that's coming up for you and how you're dealing with it.
Yeah, so, you know, just the big thing is if Nick's going to be there in the delivery room, that's terrifying because, you know, you have this plan, and obviously the birth plan they always say it doesn't go as it will. You know, it's just a plan. Expect these things to come up and pop up, but this is like a big wrench someone just threw in, and you're just like, wait, no, like, this is something that I can't like control completely, and it's just like that terrifies me, not having that control of if he could be there with me. As of right now, the hospital is saying that they're only allowing one support person, no other visitors, no one else. When he's there, he can't leave. But I have heard, you know, in New York, they're not doing that. I've heard some hospitals towards my area are starting to do no support person. So I'm like, oh my God, you know. And I only have 6 weeks left, so I'm like, maybe something will change and it's gonna get a little bit better. But then I'm like, what if it doesn't? So it's just that constant like back and forth in my head.
Yeah.
So, but Nick's been very good. He's been really a good support through all of this, and he lets me feel what I'm feeling, which I think is super important because, you know, this is first time for me. So
yeah.
Really
so what are some of the things that you're doing to handle that fear? It definitely sounds like a big one.
Definitely going for walks as much as we can when it's nice out. Exercising, even if it's like for 20 minutes, just like moving, just getting away from my phone, getting away from TV, just really getting away from all of it because it could just really consume you.
Right.
Also listening to Lizzo helps a lot, guys. She's really uplifting, so go. That's really what I've been doing. Nick and I talk. I am keeping in constant contact with my family, which is also really helpful. Zooming other family members or friends. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so switching gears a little bit, Maddie, you on the flip side are at the very early stages of this pregnancy, right? You're still in your very first trimester, obviously dealing with a lot of morning sickness as evident by your French fries. But, you know, during this period, you're probably also starting to have more and more doctor's appointments and thinking about that kind of thing. So what is that looking like now?
So far we've only had one doctor's appointment, and we're actually going to a birth center, a local birth center, which we're really excited about. But the ultrasound that's scheduled is not for another couple of weeks. So, you know, they're saying, you're seeing all these emails that say like elective procedures are getting canceled, and I'm not really sure, well, is an ultrasound count as an elective procedure, sort of a primary care type of thing, or so it's a little up in the air. I think I think I've been fortunate in that I haven't been having this overwhelming sense of anxiety of like, gosh, is Anthony going to be there? Like, because that's so far out for us. So I feel for you guys, Jess and Lauren. I think for me, the only thing that I'm really having the anxiety about, sort of what Jess mentioned, is how if you do contract coronavirus, how does it affect the pregnancy? And I've heard from a few doctors that there's no evidence to suggest so far that it does negatively impact the pregnancy, but then of course, we only have this much data, so how accurate can those predictions be? And so, especially working in the healthcare, it's a little touch and go. But fortunately, a lot of workplaces are doing, including mine, are doing some really good, safeguards for their employees and for their patients as well. So yeah, it is a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, definitely. For anybody who missed the intro, Maddie is a home hospice nurse, so definitely one of the folks on the front line here. I want to pause for a second to make sure everybody knows that there is this amazing Q&A feature in this webinar software that we're very excited to be using today. So if you go ahead down to the bottom of your screen, you should see something that says Q&A, very aptly named. Would love to hear from you. I know some of you submitted over Instagram and email some of the questions that you want to hear today, but would love for you to go ahead and start submitting the questions that you have now. In the meantime, I'm going to ask my favorite question that came through on Instagram this morning while we wait for some of these Q&A questions to come through. I'm just going to scroll through it here. Okay, so a customer of ours wrote in and said that she, during her pregnancy, was prepared to feel isolated during the postpartum recovery, but now she's worried that she's going to be socially distancing up until that moment that she gives birth. So she's wondering if anybody has any advice on creating community between now and then, especially focused on these digital options. So Jess, I know you actually texted me about this when we were talking about this panel, so do you want to kick it off for us?
Yeah. So there is, I belong to a couple groups online, and for moms or moms to be, and someone in the group had mentioned a Facebook group. It's called Pregnant During COVID-19 Pandemic. And it was started by, she's a nurse. I think she's an emergency room nurse. Last week and overnight they had, 8,000 subscribers. Members. I looked today and I think they have almost 12,000 members. And basically it's just a place for pregnant women to, address concerns calmly, and they provide support for one another. And so for me, again, I mentioned, having to tune out of social media and those things, but when I do plug back in, it's an amazing resource. It's people who are literally going through exactly what you're going through, and where, even your husband, he's there and he's experiencing some of the things, but he's not experiencing all the things, and he might not have the same fears that you have. So it's a great place to go and just be able to either comment or just, follow along and just realize you are not in this alone. There are so many more people out there going through the exact same things, and your feelings are valid, and it's okay to feel this way. And a lot of great advice. It's good to see people at different stages of their pregnancy and what's going on in their communities with the hospitals and the closures and their doctor's appointments and their visits and things like that. So it's been super helpful for me. It's crazy. People post all day, every day in there. It's hard to catch up on things, but there's always good information. I highly, highly recommend it for anyone who's just looking for some community right now, as someone going through the same thing you are.
Amazing. Lauren, is there anything you've done that's helped you find community?
No. I'm not a part of any Facebook groups, mom Facebook groups. I was a while ago, but it gave me a little anxiety. I didn't even think to, look one for, what's happening now. It's a good idea, because it's always nice to have someone experiencing what you're experiencing, and not feeling silly.
Yeah. And Lauren, you mentioned earlier that you have a nephew, right?
Yeah.
So that probably means that there's at least one other mom in your family.
Yeah.
Has it been helpful to even just have one other person to turn to?
Oh yeah, definitely. Anytime I feel anxious or anything, I usually text my sister and I'm like, oh my gosh. And she usually calms me down. She's like amazing at doing that. Like, she's my go-to person for sure. Next to my husband.
Amazing. All right, well, we are getting the questions piling in, so I want us to start answering them. So we're going to start with this one, which is, have any of you considered a home birth at this point? It's a really interesting question.
I actually did get that question from a few like friends and family, but no, I haven't considered it at this point, just because I'm so far along and I've created such a good relationship with my doctors and nurses. I don't really know where to even begin to think about doing a home birth, to be honest. Where to even start looking, and I don't know. So.
I went down a rabbit hole about it the other day a little bit. That is not what I want to do. I love my doctors. I want to be in the hospital. I want to do all the things that I plan to do. And I'm not seriously thinking about a home birth right now, but it is something that in the back of my mind, it's like, if this gets worse, like that might be something we might have to consider. So I'm not preparing for one by any means at this point, but I have to be realistic and think, okay, well, if things get worse and that's what we have to do, then that's what we have to do. So, yeah, maybe I'll start doing some reading. I don't know. I don't want to be too crazy about it because we still have plenty of time to prepare, but it's not, I guess, out of the question.
Amazing. All right, Maddie, I think this next one is a great place to start with you as the person who has most recently gotten pregnant. So somebody asked here, if you're in the middle of conceiving, should we wait until things get better? And I'm going to preface this by saying that I know you all have had incredibly different, and for some of you, incredibly difficult experiences in getting pregnant or in staying pregnant up until this point. And for anybody calling in, we all know that getting pregnant can be a really long and arduous process. It takes, on average, 6 months in the US. And so I just want to preface that as we move into this piece of the conversation. But go ahead, Maddie, you want to kick it off for us?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty, I mean, we're having to ask these questions that are actually quite huge. I mean, personally, I'm by no means like the physician who is totally in the know or knows the exact answers. But I mean, I think if you are trying to have a child, then that is a beautiful thing, and we are really fortunate now that this particular pandemic has shown not to really affect children so far. So like if it were something like the Spanish flu or I don't know what else, like, you know, that those questions, you do have to sort of weigh them and see, okay, well, you know, it's a risk to take, and I think it still is a risk to take, but I think the evidence so far, if I were in that position for myself, I would say, like, listen, this is, you know, as my family that I want to build, and sometimes you can't wait for that, and you want to get started, and that's beautiful, that's great, and I would, yeah. So if I weren't already pregnant, I think I would still be totally on board with conceiving. It's different for everyone, though, of course, and that you know, your different circumstances. If you're taking care of a grandparent or something, say, and you know, but the great thing about being pregnant is that you have this little incubator where nothing can get inside. So
I will preface this by saying, again, none of us are doctors. Maddie is a nurse here, so she can say that you have a little incubator inside of you. But it should definitely be said, no physicians here, no, you know, immunologists or anything like that. But that is a great question. Anybody else want to talk at all about, maybe this is an interesting moment if anybody else wants to talk about maybe their fertility journey, or, you know, if you were thinking about being pregnant now, going back over again, would you still want to be doing it at this moment?
I would never tell anyone to wait to start trying. Seeing that, I was someone who thought that we were going to have unprotected sex one time and I was going to get pregnant for sure. Totally convinced. You're told all your life, like if you don't do these things, you're going to get pregnant. And so it took us 2 years, with lots and lots and lots of help. So it's, for us, it was not easy. And I would just say it, you don't want to say to someone like, well, don't think you're going to get pregnant the first time, because it is good to be excited and to have high hopes, but it could take longer. It could, and that's okay. And everyone's journey is different. And so I would never tell anyone from my personal experience. And of course, like you were saying, Maddie, it's not the Spanish flu. So it seems like things are going to be okay for, the baby and for the mom to be, but yeah, just because this is going on, I would never tell someone to wait. I would say start trying now. Have fun.
Amazing. Definitely, obviously, a very personal question, to each their own, and always call your doctor. Oh my gosh, we have so many amazing questions coming in. Keep them coming, y'all. This is so fun. Okay, there's one question that is, I think, my favorite question we've ever gotten, so I'm going to save that one for last. So person who submitted that, don't worry, it's coming. But I'm going to move on to this really, really interesting one, which is, I know many doulas are offering virtual support for either before or during birth, even now for women late in pregnancy. Have you considered having a midwife or a doula? Or, have you already chosen this option?
I want to jump on this one.
Go for it, Maddie.
So like I mentioned before, that Anthony and I have decided to go to a birth center, and that's influenced by like my nursing background, where they really push for midwifery, actually. So yes, we are going to have a midwife, and I'm really excited about it. But going back to that question of like, should we consider a home birth because of COVID-19? Very good question. I think it's something that Lauren said. I definitely want to highlight is that the relationship that you have with your doctors and your nurses is incredibly important for that process. Like if you feel like you have to make the decisions, that you have to be in charge, then you're going to be taking on so much more stress than you're going to A, want, and B, be able to take on during your birth. So I think the biggest thing, rather than like worrying about the infection, the possibility of contracting an infection, is, do I trust who is going to be taking care of me at this point? If that's something that you can trust being in a home birth setting, and that both you and your husband are totally on board with, and you're like, yeah, totally fine, then maybe it's a good option for you. If you like start breaking out in sweats at the idea of having a baby on your couch, then maybe not. But I think that point of like having complete and total trust in whoever is going to be there for you is incredibly important. And so for me, that's going to be a midwife, which I'm really excited about. And it's already going really well. We're super happy. But yeah.
Amazing. Jess, Lauren, have either of you considered a midwife or a doula?
No, I haven't really considered either of those options. It just never really came up for me.
Cool. Jess?
I haven't at this point. The nice thing about where my OB is, you can choose a doctor or a midwife, and I can start seeing them interchangeably. So at my next appointment, if I want to see a midwife, I can see a midwife and start to build a relationship there. So far, I have loved the doctors at the center. So not at this point, but now that the question's been asked, maybe I should just see a midwife at my next appointment, and why we still have time to make any decisions and make any changes. But yeah, not until now had I thought about it.
Okay, well then, great thing that somebody asked this question.
Yeah,
talking about things today. Amazing. Okay, so we are gonna aim to wrap this up by 8 p.m. Eastern time to get everybody back to their quarantining lives. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask my favorite question that we've got, even though they're all great, which is, somebody said to share some positivity. What is the coolest and most positive part about being pregnant? So let's just go down the line, and then I think this will close us out for today. So Jess, kick us off.
The coolest thing is just like watching my body change, and now that I'm showing, like seeing that there's a human in there, and we had our 20-week anatomy scan last week, and it was like the most amazing thing ever to see, you know, she's becoming like a little human in there. It's just like, it's all crazy and great. But I love looking down and like seeing my belly right now. It's just like the best thing in the world.
I love it. Okay, Lauren, next up, coolest and most positive thing about being pregnant.
Feeling her move. I'm telling you, this girl moves all the time. And anytime, like the most reassuring thing, like, okay, she's okay in there. Like, she's having a good time, rolling around, doing whatever. So it's been really cool feeling her just kind of having her own little party in there, you know?
It's amazing. Amazing. Okay, Maddie, coolest, most positive thing about being pregnant?
I think probably the fact that, you know, I am a mother now. I was a mother from the day of conception, that this beautiful little boy or girl started growing in me, and I get to now do all the things of motherhood, granted in a very different setting, but I get to, you know, share the joy of having a child with my husband. I get to revel in my child's achievements, like, oh right, he's the size of a lime now, yeah baby, keep on growing. And I get to spread that joy with my friends and my family, and I think that's what makes motherhood so beautiful, is that you get to see the beauty of your child, and, you know, in a way your child is a reflection of you, and at the same time their own completely different person. So I love, so far, you know, it's great to know, yeah, I'm a mother finally. I finally got to do that.
Amazing. Well, those are three incredibly beautiful things. And, you know, whatever hard things are going on out in the world right now, like, you all are growing little people inside of you. And hopefully some of these people on the call, if you want to be grown people inside of you, you are too. Thank you all so much for joining our very first event in the Stix Sanity series. I know everybody's on mute, but I'm just going to say we should all give a round of applause to Jess, Maddie, and Lauren. Yay! For being our very brave first panelists here. You know, the three of you have such different backgrounds and different stories and different journeys to getting to the point where you are today. So thank you so much for sharing your vulnerability, for coming here and being open and honest, and for everybody on the call, thank you so much for being here today. Please join us on Thursday for our second Sanity Series event, which is going to be an amazing workout led for all sorts of bodies, prenatal, postnatal, nothing to do with natal at all, led by one of our amazing customers, Kayla, who I think is actually on here today. We're so excited. So 7:30, you can find that if you go to getstix.com and check out the Sanity series. You can register there. Thank you all so much for being here today. You can always get in contact with Jamie and I if you just want to chat, if you have questions, whatever we can do to be supportive. We're all here for each other during this time. So feel free to always reach out. And with that, I'm going to wrap this up with one final question, which is your weirdest pregnancy craving. Okay, I told you I was going to start at the end. Jess, kick it off.
I don't have any cravings, but I am hungry all the time. Like, no snack is safe in my house at all. I just want all the things all the time. Definitely ice cream every single night. Like, that is mandatory. So
yeah, sounds like a dream. Okay, Maddie, next.
I was really feeling a Philly cheesesteak the other day, and we went to Wawa, which is like the local heartthrob of Philly, and it was the best dang cheesesteak that I've eaten in my life. That was incredible.
Love it. Okay, Lauren?
I can't say I've had any weird cravings, but mostly watermelon has been a big one. Recently, ice cream, naturally. I mean.
Oh, amazing. Well,
yeah.
Thank you all so much again for joining us. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be posting recordings of this on our blog, so you can always check it out. And I hope everybody has a safe and well evening. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.